What's going on, everybody? Matthew back again, this time for another movie review. Today we're reviewing Deadpool and Wolverine. Let's get into it. Okay, so starting off, the plot was very herky-jerky to me. This is what it is, an original Deadpool 3, repurposed for Wolverine and just renamed. The name fits given the screen time of Wolverine, but you could call this Deadpool 3 as well. Which is unfortunate because I was looking forward to a movie that was equally both. They could have fixed that with giving Wolverine his own introduction. We're introduced to Deadpool and he goes to visit the Avengers in another universe. I felt like they could have used that time to also show Wolverine in his universe before we're introduced to him through Deadpool. I think it would have been even more of a Deadpool and Wolverine movie had Wolverine had a proper introduction rather than just meeting him the same time Deadpool did at that bar. Okay, let's talk about Wolverine. The first time you see Wolverine is the short joke at the bar, which is a great joke and very funny, but that's not how we should have seen Wolverine for the first time in the movie. We needed a proper introduction to the Wolverine that we would be spending time with. I found Wolverine's backstory to be way too vague, and it didn't give us enough answers. They say that he was at a bar when all of the X-Men were killed, which is a very difficult thing to do for humans. It's not very easy to wipe out the entire X-Men. But then Wolverine says that he just shows up, he gets mad, and starts killing all of them, even the good ones. Does that mean he killed innocent people? And if he had done all that, how is he just sitting at a bar and no one's like trying to call any kind of law enforcement or anything? I understand he's a machine, but okay, what about Deadpool? Deadpool's biggest driving force is wanting to save all the people he loves from destruction. There's also another motivation from his girlfriend, which is understandable but seems very undercooked, involving him trying to basically win back his balls to impress her. She felt very vulnerable having been shot in the last movie, which, you know, it's kind of realistic, I understand, but she breaks up with him just to get back with him again because, what, he's Deadpool again? I don't really understand. Okay, let's talk about the villains. The first one is Mr. Paradox, who is very stupid. He straight up tells Deadpool his evil plan, which includes killing all of Deadpool's friends and his entire universe. His idea was that Deadpool would just accept it and join Universe 616 and leave all his friends to perish. Why do you think that would ever happen? Why did Paradox want Deadpool alive in the first place? His plan was to destroy that universe quickly instead of waiting. Why didn't he just allow Deadpool to die with it? Why did he choose to move Deadpool to 616? Or is that a decision made by his higher-ups and he just had to follow it? Why did Paradox think Deadpool wouldn't care about his people dying? It makes no sense. I thought Cassandra was an interesting villain because she would laugh at violent things, and she was just an all-around really evil person. Cassandra's motivation was strange. Why wouldn't she try to take over all dimensions already? She had a deal with the TVA to be a queen of that realm, but why didn't she want more? Also, Wolverine decides to let her live and remove the helmet, which is far too big of a risk, and was actually pretty stupid. If he kills her then she isn't a threat for the third act, so he ended up being wrong. It was nice that he did that for Charles, but she was too big a threat to let live. In the end, I found the villains to be very entertaining, but they didn't have the quote-unquote gravitas to be a Wolverine and Deadpool villain. I would have liked a villain that could have actually gone toe-to-toe with Wolverine and Deadpool in terms of like crossing swords or actually having combat. Let's be honest, the effects were not very good. The CGI was bad. Wolverine looked very fake at the end in multiple shots, including one which was supposed to make the crowd orgasm, but didn't because of the CGI. It didn't even look like Hugh Jackman, to be honest. My biggest hope involving this movie was that we would see the X-Men, and we did, not at all. I was hoping to see Cyclops and Storm and all of them in their normal outfits like Wolverine got, but we never got it. But that's not to say there weren't cool cameos. Obviously, we saw Elektra, Blade, and Gambit. Elektra was serviceable, she didn't really distract or anything. Blade was really cool, even though I'm not a huge Blade fan. I know there's a lot out there, and I'm glad that they got to see their hero again. As far as Gambit, that was very funny. I wasn't sure if they were actually trying to play off that Cajun accent seriously, but then after a time it was very apparent they were not. All in all, I found the cameos very fun, and I'm glad they just weren't used to be killed off like Johnny Storm. They actually were serviceable to the plot and assisted Deadpool and Wolverine in their mission. Some things I found interesting, Wolverine at one point said fuck the Avengers, which means that he has a history with them. I wonder if the Avengers did not assist Wolverine after the death of the X-Men and that's why he hates them now. Also, why did they introduce Thor crying over Deadpool? That was never resolved, and it tells me they have bigger and larger plans for Deadpool, and it could definitely be related to Secret Wars. Which, if that's the case, I'm very excited for Secret Wars. Also, with the ending, did they properly explain how Deadpool and Wolverine fixed their universe? They just replaced Wolverine with another. Is that all they needed to do all along? Having now seen it, I think it's a fun, enjoyable movie, and it's a really good summer popcorn movie, but it's still not as good as I was hoping, but that doesn't mean it's a bad movie. I give this movie a 7 out of 10. The characters were awesome. The acting was great. They tried to inject some heart, but I didn't think there was enough of it. It's a very funny movie, and if it set out to be a comedy, which it did succeed in that manner, but I did want more heart. It missed the mark in terms of a compelling story, but it was a very entertaining movie. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Hit that like button and please subscribe. Take it easy, guys.